Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to start our webinar in the next minute. Just waiting for 3 o'clock to arrive. Well, we like to start on time, so we're going to start now. Firstly, thank you everybody for joining us and welcome to our webinar. Our webinar is titled Learning Redefined, and it's a webinar specifically for heads and principals of high schools. My name is Sean Swartz. I am the CEO of SK Education Solutions. We are the official office of the GED in Africa, and a special welcome to all our heads and principals of high schools today. Today we're privileged to have two guests with us, Lindsay Calder and Paddy Mwangi. We are live on YouTube and have made the comment facility available for you to please post your questions. So feel free to type your questions in the comments facility. We will be monitoring these questions and we will try our best to ensure that we answer all your questions as we go along. My guests, Lindsay. Lindsay has worked in the education industry for the last 16, maybe even 17 years now, with a particular focus on international qualifications. And Paddy's also been around for a very long time. He's an education consultant, and he has also worked in the education industry for many years, also with a particular focus on international qualifications. And so Lindsay and Paddy, thank you both for joining us. We look forward to hearing from both of you shortly. So let's get going. I'm going to start by sharing some slides. Okay, so let's jump. Grade 12 is stressful. All right, so the pressure on schools to deliver, on you guys, to deliver outstanding grade 12 results is huge. But at the same time, you don't want to risk losing students that are struggling to make the grade. Rather, you should be looking to provide them with an alternative option, an option to remain a student at your school and still succeed. And through collaborating with us, you will be able to provide your school with an opportunity to offer your students an alternative educational opportunity. We are enabling schools to present students who require different learning approaches or different examination methods an alternative stream to the traditional grade 12. And by combining the very best of online learning with the physicality and the personal interaction of attending a full-time school like yours, you can now offer all of your students an opportunity to succeed academically in grade 12. So let's briefly look at the benefits. Let's take a look at the benefits specifically for you as a school. So certain students require alternate curricula, alternate learning methods, and even alternate exam processes. And through a collaboration with us, you can expand on your current offering and offer your students an alternative high school certificate. And as a result, you can retain these students that are needing an alternative option. And by retaining them, you are also retaining their tuition fees that keep your school alive. And often, not only you're retaining students, but you also can retain students that may not have stayed with you for many reasons, and one of them being sports and culture. So often there's really budding sportsmen or cultural activities, dances or whatever it might be, that would not necessarily have the time to doing a traditional grade 12. And so this is a really great option as well. And at the same time, you're able to continue providing these students with a positive experience in their senior years, meaning grade 11 and grade 12. You can provide them with the much needed additional support, both educational and emotional, through our offering. There's a massive cost saving as well. And by keeping our offering as an alternate offering in your school, you're also able to reduce the ratios of students and therefore improve your teacher to student ratio. And at the same time, you are expanding your offering. So let's have a look, what is the benefit from a student's perspective? So firstly, as you can see on the screen, that's world class. We provide coaching, we provide feedback, online tutoring, etc. So how will your students benefit? So number one, they will be studying with a world-class online learning resource. They'll be given dedicated online tutoring, coaching, and mentoring support. There will be comprehensive and continuous feedback for both students and parents. The students receive an extremely structured weekly timetable that is also integrated into the school timetable. They can, at the same time, benefit by accessing all your existing school extracurricular activities. And at the same time, they get the opportunity to also gain an equivalent to a grade 12 qualification. Let's have a look. What are the subjects? What do they study? How does it work? So the American GED is a high school equivalency that offers your students an alternative to grade 12. Students can study one subject at a time, which in itself is a huge, huge benefit because it reduces stress and anxiety in a very big way. It offers the flexibility to test the students in each subject when the student is ready to write. There are no set exam dates. Students study, as I said, one subject at a time, and whenever they are ready to write that exam, they can simply book and write that exam. As soon as they pass that exam, then they'll move on to the next subject. They'll study that one, and then they'll write the exam, and then they'll move on to the next. And by doing that, the stress levels are extremely reduced because they're not focusing on studying all the subjects all the time and having to write all the exams over a condensed period of time. They're a readiness assessment. And using that readiness assessment, we are able to assess all their skills and see whether they are ready to write their final exam. And I guess you could consider that the equivalent of writing a prelim exam to ensure that the students are ready. If the students should fail a test, it's really easy. All they have to do is book and retake it if their marks aren't high enough, or if they failed, whatever it may be. And there's really very, very little need for extra lessons, because we offer everything. We offer a complete academic support with everything that they need. And what are the subjects that students study? Well, they study English, they study mathematics, and I would say that mathematics is the equivalent of a mix of pure maths that you're used to, as well as maths lit. So it's really a mix of the two. They study physical science, life sciences, earth and space sciences, history, economics, and geography. So it's a complete offering, and it really, really works well. What we do is we combine some of the subjects into one examination. So there are only 4 examinations. However, we are testing all 8 of these subjects. So the 4 examinations are English, mathematics, science, and science is a combination of physical science, life science, as well as the earth and space science. And then the social studies exam is a combination of history, economics, and geography. Now, the big question with the GED is always asked, can you study further with a GED? And the answer is you definitely can study further. However, there are always going to be certain restrictions. So, for example, if a student wants to do medicine or engineering in South Africa, then the GED is definitely not an option for them. But let's start. Let's just discuss South Africa and Namibia. And in order to discuss South Africa and Namibia in more detail, I'd like to ask Lindsay to explain the different study options that are available in these countries.
Thanks, Sean. Yes, so in terms of the GED, let's first look at South Africa. So a lot of the private tertiary institutions, such as your Boston City campus, your Stadio, they accept GED students, and they accept students straight into a degree program even. Some institutions such as the IIE group for teachings, they want students to first do a higher certificate, and then they can progress onto a degree, such as a Bachelor of Education. If you're looking at the government universities, if you want to study BCom or something, generally the government universities don't accept GED students straight into degree programs. They'd need to look at either doing a higher certificate first, or go to a private tertiary institution first before then looking at moving into a government university. So there are a lot of further study options available for students. It's just finding the route that suits each student the best. There's also the University of the People, which is a great online American accredited university. I know when we hear American university, we all get a fright and think it's not affordable, but University of the People is very affordable to all students, including South African students. If we switch across to Namibia, in Namibia, a lot of institutions accept GED students. It just depends on what they want to study. So University of Namibia accepts students for certain qualifications. But as Sean said, you're not going to go and study engineering with the GED. If students are looking at studying engineering, we would recommend that they look at either the local grade 12 or one that covers a lot of tests, just for admission purposes.
Thank you, Lindsay. Next, I would just like to remind you that the comments facility is available, so feel free to type your questions in the comments facility. We will answer questions afterwards. Paddy, I'd like to ask you to please explain the study options available in Kenya for Kenyan students.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Sean. Well, in Kenya, it's very similar to what's happening in South Africa and Namibia, in that a student can progress to a degree in private institutions like Catholic University, Strathmore University, Nazarene University. There are a number of other private universities outside of Nairobi, and there's a list that's available for students, whoever wants to apply. The list is growing, so this is a work in progress through the Commission of University Education. But in essence, you can apply to universities, private universities in Kenya, and even beyond as we move forward. But it's a fantastic opportunity for students who want to progress to tertiary education after finishing high school.
Thank you so much, Patty. So I'd just like to quickly just mention and remind you that we're not here to replace your existing curriculum. What we are suggesting today is to offer your students more options. It's not for everybody, and it's not for the majority either, but there are always, in every single year, in every single school, a handful of students that are not necessarily cut out for the IEB or the GDE matric with English and Afrikaans and pure maths and everything else. And so, as an alternative, instead of turning these students away and losing the tuition fees, etc., here's an alternative opportunity for you to offer these students something within your own school. That's a great opportunity for them. It doesn't affect your results because they're doing an alternative curriculum. And it's just a great opportunity to allow these type of students to stay in your school environment, let them still stay with their friends, participate in extramural activities, sports, etc. So what is the partnership? What do we do? Because I'm sure you're thinking, well, we still have to offer the tuition, etc. And the reality is that you don't. We partner with you and we offer all of the following stuff. Firstly, we offer a personal GED coach. This coach gets allocated to the GED students in your school, and they guide them through every step of the process throughout the entire year. They tutor them using weekly live lessons. These are done online, on Zoom, at a predetermined time that works for you. Over and above that, they receive their weekly study schedule, and using that weekly study schedule, they study using this comprehensive study material. They work in study groups as well. And so that we provide this entire service. All that we need from you as partnering with us is really to provide a venue for these particular students. So when it's time for the rest of their grade to go and study maths and English and Afrikaans, they will sit in a venue with a computer or a tablet that you can either provide them or they can bring from home themselves. And we just need somebody to oversee them to make sure that they actually, number one, behave, number two, sit down and study and just work through the material. We don't need you to provide any academic support whatsoever. Our personal GED coach will work in conjunction with your appointed advisor or administrator, and they would work with them and identify any weaknesses of the students, and if there are weaknesses or if they're not studying enough or whatever it may be, our coach would request to organize a private one-on-one lesson or meeting with the student to help them so that they don't fall behind with their offering. And if you're in South Africa or if you're in Namibia, then Lindsay is your contact. If you would like to schedule a meeting with us to discuss further, or if you want to just ask some questions, you're welcome to email Lindsay. Her email address is on the screen here, lindsay@edsol.co.za. And if you are in Kenya, you're welcome to contact Paddy directly. His email address is on the screen, pjm@kenyashield.com. And we are here to help you and to guide you and to help partner with you so that we can offer the GED to the handful of students that are not necessarily going to cope with your IB or whatever it may be that you're offering, whichever curriculum it is, and just to help keep them in your school environment. Why must you lose those students? Okay, so I would, if anyone does have questions, they are more than welcome to ask now. I see there aren't any at the moment. There is a comment that NUST do accept GED and VCT. Thank you, Monia, for stating that. And Lindsay, is there anything that you want to add? And Paddy, is there anything that you would like to add?
Sure. So thanks, Sean. I think for us, you've spoken quite a lot on the academic benefits, the sports benefits, but I think another area to look into is the emotional and self-confidence aspects. We all know if a student is struggling at school, it affects every part of their life, and the emotional states. So what the offering an alternative curriculum does is it says to the student that we understand that you're struggling, or you want to switch to being an elite athlete and you needed additional time to train. And here's an alternative that might be better suited to your learning style. It's recognizing that every curriculum doesn't suit every child, every learning style doesn't suit every child, and it's really looking at matching a curriculum and learning style to each child and their needs, be it they want to be an elite athlete, or they do a lot of dancing, or purely that they're not a highly academic student, and it's really offering them something that suits their learning style, gives them the flexibility. So you're looking at a student in a holistic way. You're looking at the academic, the emotional, and the curricula. And it's really just saying to a student that I understand you're not coping, but let's look at a way how we can help you better.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Thank you so much, Lindsay. I think as well, I haven't mentioned this, the GED is not a curriculum that you start when you're in grade 1 or grade 2. It's a school leaving certificate. It's a one-year program. So it's only designed if you're already in grade 11 or grade 12. You have to be 17 or older in order to write the examinations. And so most students will either start studying when they are 16 and then write the exams when they turn 17, or when they're already 17, they will start writing. Often we find that it happens that halfway through the year, students just feel that they are not coping, they're not going to get through, there's problems, and so they'll switch over to the GED at that point. The beauty of the GED is that, as I said, you can write exams throughout the year, which means that there's no missed starting date. You don't have to begin your school GED year with the normal academic year. You can start it whenever you're ready. You can start it any month of the year.
And I think if we switch across to look at Namibia, because Monia kindly provided those two other institutions that accept GED students, we know in Namibia that a lot of students are looking for an alternative for the Namibian grade 12, and this is a great alternative. If institutions require a local equivalency, or if someone is going to look at working after SAQA, South African Qualifications Authority in South Africa, and the NQA, the Namibian Qualifications Authority in Namibia, they have both evaluated the GD and found it equivalent to a grade 12 at NQF level 4. So with that, then you have your local equivalency of a grade 12. I hope Patty doesn't mind, but if I talk a bit on Kenya, oh, Patty's back, so maybe, Patty, I was about to steal your thunder and talk on Kenya and the GD, but I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Basically, what you were saying about Namibia and South Africa would apply to Kenya, especially given that now a lot of universities are accepting the GED as an equivalent exam to the KCSE. And this will continue because students, just like Sean mentioned, there's always a handful of students who may not fit the national curriculum requirements. They may not meet them, but they still have a dream of pursuing tertiary education. So I really encourage students and teachers, as well as principals, to take this up, because it gives the students an opportunity to pursue their high school education, their tertiary education. And now the list is growing. A lot more students they're looking not just to register for universities in Kenya. They want to go across the border. They want to go to universities in Uganda, Tanzania, and even further fields across the oceans to the US, Canada. So all these opportunities are open when you do when you have a qualification like the GED.
And I think it's important to raise that is that there's no upfront cost to schools. There's purely a per license per month fee for all the learning resources and the tutoring support. So it's an alternative. It can be offered in together with your current curriculum. It's an alternative option available.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. I think we've covered the basics. What I'd like to do is invite you to contact us. If you would like to have a private one-on-one meeting with us, it doesn't matter which country you're in, we'll bring the right people on board for the meeting. You're more than welcome to contact us. What we can do is we can just put in the chat our contact details. I think just info@edsol.co.za is the generic email address, or you can contact Lindsay on lindsay@edsol.co.za. And if you want to contact Patty directly, it's pjm@kenyashield.com. And I think we've covered a lot of information in a very short half an hour slot here. We had planned on running a half an hour, so I think we're 2 minutes short of that. So I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us. We will be sending out a recording of this so that you can go back and watch it, but feel free to contact us if you have any more questions, or if you want to meet with us, let us know, and we will schedule a meeting. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful day. Okay.